Hey, y'all, thanks for tuning in again for another Coaches Q&A. We have Miss Tanna Burge here from Texas A&M. She is the Assistant Athletic Director for Sports Performance for all sports except for football. And it is with great pleasure she is joining us today. So thanks so much for being on. Yeah, Tanna, why don't you just kind of go into just a little bit about who you are, what you're doing, and what your day-to-day is like right now. Or maybe not right now. Let's
right now my day-to-day is sitting right here in my kitchen.
Let's just go with based on, who you are, kind of what you're about.
What I'm about. My number one thing that I'm about is follower of Jesus Christ. Number one, always. And I've been a coach for 20 years now, almost. And I'm just about basically really seeing student athletes and the people, basically anybody that I'm around, I want to help empower them to become the absolute best versions of themselves that they can be in whatever way I can help. So in the mentality of I want to serve the people around me so that anything that I might have to offer or any just word of encouragement that I might have to offer, I can help them be the absolute best that they can be. So in the vein of coaching, that's pretty much what we do every single day. It's serving our student athletes, serving our coaches. I get to lead a staff right now. And so being able to serve the staff in the best way, to encourage, empower, and really just be a resource if I can be a resource. I mean, most of the time I'm like, shoot, most of my staff knows way more than I do. I'm just like, we've budgeted for continuing education. Go do the things and learn the things and then bring it back and teach the rest of us how to do all the things that you know how to do, because I don't know how to do them.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I love working with student athletes. That's years ago, I'd taken some time off from coaching. And once I came back, it was very, very clear that working with student athletes is more like a ministry for me. And it also just happens to be my job, which is, a great way to, just live life every single day. And so, right now I'm working with women's basketball and just picked up men's golf. We had one of our coaches took another job recently. And so I picked up men's golf, which has been super fun. They're a great group. Been working with women's basketball for the last 2 years. They're also awesome. And, I'm bummed for them that we didn't get to finish out the season, but they're troopers and they're just rocking and rolling right now. So
nice. That's awesome. Thanks for sharing that. Definitely some great insight. I'm going to kind of reel back a little bit before we talk specifically about the student athletes, but you talk about, you coaching, it's like a ministry to you, and that, it's all about giving back and serving them. Did you have that experience or have a mentor or a coach of your own? Because a lot of us as strength coaches, there are very particular people that have made that impact on us, and it's inspired us and motivated us to be that type of way towards everybody else. Can you talk about, those handful of people, whether currently on your staff or people in the past, that have really made you open up your eyes and gain that perspective to then kind of pay it forward?
Yeah. I've had some incredible coaches and some not so good ones throughout my time. And so I always look back. One of the biggest inspirations was a coach that I had in high school. Her name was Lee Bloom. Just the most positive person that you could ever meet. I mean, she was so positive with us all the time. She encouraged us so much and was always our biggest fan and our biggest source of excitement. And I mean, every single day it was you wanted to work so hard for her because you did not want to let her down, because she was so excited about everything that you were doing and everything that you were accomplishing. And when I got into coaching, I was like, I want to model my coaching after that. I want to model my coaching after, just really being a positive influence. And then I started being more of the I gotta do everything and you gotta go hard. And so I became the crazy psycho strength coach after the first couple of years, because I was like, more, 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 more.
Yeah.
And now I'm like, more is not always better. It's just more. But along the way, I've worked with like LeBaron Carruthers. He gave me my first opportunity at Baylor way back in the late 90s, way back then. And I got to work with, Sean McPherson at that time, he's been a mentor for me throughout all these years, even though we were like he was a GA and I was a student, but just being able to talk through all kinds of stuff. And then, Coach Batson at Clemson. I mean, everybody knows him now. They're super successful, but when I was there as a GA, he was like a father figure to me, gave me my first full-time job, and just really like he had faith that I could do the job. And then he leads in such a way, like he's, his faith leads the way for him. And that was kind of one of those things that I was like, man, like I get that. I get that. And that's how I want to continue to move forward. And then I read, this is going to sound so silly. I read this article when I was like, I think I was a student back at Baylor. And I read this article and it was like two strength coaches. I can't remember. Gosh, what was that guy's name? Dave Van Hallinger. He was at Florida State for the longest time. I think it was Florida State. And it was talking about like serving as like serving your student athletes in a faith-based way. And it like I was mind blown. I was like, yes, I can do that. And so when I sat for the CSCCA practical portion, he was the first person, like he was the first table that I went to for the practical, for the warm up. And I'd never met him in person, but like 10 years before that, I had read this article. And so he introduces himself and I was like, oh my gosh, do you know who you are? And he's like, yes. And I was like, but you don't know who you are to me. Because the article like really like it shaped the way that I viewed coaching in such an awesome way. And so he was like, awesome. I didn't realize that. I was just like, okay, well, our time is up now, but you want to talk about my warm up? Oh, yeah, okay. Great. Is it good? But yeah, so, and then just, I mean, like I've worked with so many incredible people. And I mean, when I got on with A&M right now, like Ray Ellsworth has been a mentor to me for so many years. And when I applied for the position at A&M, I was like, I can't be Ray's boss. That's weird. But in the sense, like she and I work so well together. Mm-hmm. And we like, I mean, we're two awesome females leading a staff that is freaking phenomenal. And we very much balance each other. She's so much like, get stuff done so proficient in programming and design and organization and like really teaching and molding the next generation. And then I get to do a lot of the like organizing and leading and speaking with all the administrators, which, that's a learn as you go type of thing. But it's such a complimentary way that we get to work together now. And so it's like, that's just everybody. I mean, literally every single person that I've worked with has incredibly shaped the way that I am. Mm-hmm. And the way I engage with people every single day.
Yeah. I think that's huge. And, I talked about vulnerability with another coach, and I think it's so important as a leader that you're vulnerable, especially at the top, because if you don't if you're closed off to some of say it's a first year assistant, if you're closed off to ideas that they're giving you, I mean, how can you get better, right? Or how can you fully understand who they are and what they're going through and kind of the way that their brain works? And I think, it's veteran coaches like you that, you're shaping the next generation faster by being open to the ideas and visions that they have. And that's really inspiring. So let's shift a little bit. You've been in coaching for 20 plus years. And what is your passion, whether professionally or personally, something that, you can do one of each, whether it's professional or personal, something that just kind of really gets you going?
Personally, I love to travel. And so right now, that's really, really difficult. I am still praying that in August, the trip that I have already booked and planned to Portugal is actually still going to happen.
I was in Portugal last May.
No.
I think you're going to be fine, but yes,
I'm going to be fine.
it's a beautiful country, and I would suggest it to anybody. So that's.
I'm so excited. Yeah, I love to explore new places and new cultures and just seeing how other people live. I mean, I've traveled all over the world. I've gone and I've been able to do like mission trips all over the world and serve different cultures and different places. And I've always I won't even say always, just within the last probably maybe 20, 25 years, I've just been like, I just want to explore. And I love the newness of places and seeing different things. I think it's so fantastic. I had the best. I started taking vacations, like actual real vacations 3 years ago.
Yeah.
Literally. I've been a coach for 20 years and I just started taking vacations. So all you coaches out there, take a tip from good old Tanna here. It's take a vacation. Please do it. It changes your life. Went to Spain a few years ago. I was there for a week and I felt like I was there for a month in the best way. Like I felt so recovered and I was literally like fully recovered and restored for like 6 months after that. It was awesome. And then last summer I went to Iceland and the Faroe Islands. The Faroe Islands is like it kind of jumped New Zealand. Like the South Island of New Zealand has always been like the epitome of just awesomeness.
Yeah.
I think the Faroe Islands overtook the South Island of New Zealand.
Wow.
I mean, like unbelievable. There was one day where literally the only thing that I said was, "Wow."
That's awesome.
And so then I would say professionally, I get really excited about leadership and training up leaders. So it's not just about like refining my own leadership skills, because I think that is something that happens in the day-to-day when we shift and adjust and adapt to different situations and scenarios, and view it from that like a place of humility of like, I don't have all the answers. And just to your point earlier, like I don't have all the answers. Let me hear your perspective because we can work this together and figure out the best way to handle different situations. And so being able to kind of like unlock that and unleash that in other people, I think is so exciting, whether it's other staff members or interns or student athletes or just anybody who does have a voice and has something to say, and I'm not saying like, shout it from the rooftops that you got something to say and do it this way. It's not about that, but it's, sometimes a lot of people don't have the confidence to speak up or share their ideas or share their thoughts or share their concerns or share their, just like, we aren't vulnerable most of the time because, Americans were taught to be tough and bulletproof and all these things. And there's the vulnerability and the transparency of a true leader where it's like, okay, I don't have this all figured out. I have experience and my experiences have shown me this, but in this situation, and just like in this situation right now, like none of our experiences have like prepared us for what we're adapting to right now. And it's so much about adapting. And so many people, are like trying to figure things out. And that's what leadership is. It's you're trying to figure things out. And yeah, so I get super excited about that.
That's awesome. So that's like a great crossroad into, you talk about leadership and managing new situations and scenarios and stuff like that. Obviously, the coronavirus has plagued the world right now. And how are you taking kind of what you learned in your passion and leadership and kind of reflected that onto your athletes by staying in touch with them or holding them accountable? Not too sure exactly where Texas A&M has been in this process, but kind of touch a little bit about, the current situation in the world and how that's affected maybe your leadership style with the athletes and maybe that accountability component as well.
Yeah. So per SEC regulations, we kind of lost touch with our athletes in person as of last Friday. And so that's one of the things that it's like I want to see my athletes. I want to be able to communicate with them in person and help them. And right now that's just not an option. And so, with working with women's basketball, we met last Friday as a team and talked through kind of what this is going to look like. We want to set ourselves up for success, but we just finished a basketball season. And so right now, as of Monday, I sent them some bodyweight workouts to do and was just like, hey, if you have any questions, let me know. Mm-hmm. Right now we need to rest. And I've talked with so many different basketball coaches and different stuff. And it's like at the end of a season, what we would typically do is give them a break.
Yeah.
They need a mental break. They need a physical break. And right now the way that I personally am addressing things, it's like everybody is trying to figure out what their new normal is for right now, especially with all the different things that are coming up. It's like something changes every single day. So like in Texas, in the state of Texas, all gyms closed yesterday. So all public gyms are closed. Mm-hmm. So our athletes are like, what do I do now? We sent you body weight stuff. We're going to continue to get creative and send you things. But so many, I see so many coaches that are like, oh, we got to do this. We got to do this. And it's like, okay, we need to allow people to figure themselves out. And this is, again, just me, figure out what is my normal now? What, getting their day organized to okay, how do I do this? I've been trying to figure out how do I focus on one thing at a time? Because usually as strength coaches, we're always there's things going on. And then as an administrator, it's add another layer of that. There. And right now I'm sitting at my kitchen table and I'm like, okay, where do I start to focus on one thing at a time? And so with caring for our student athletes, it's I'm sending stuff out, I just sent a message to the team. It's like, hey, how we doing? I haven't heard back from many of them, which is fine. Yeah. Honestly, it's fine because they're probably I don't know how I'm doing. I'm trying to figure out how to not have my day scheduled every hour of the day. Mm-hmm. And so trying to figure that out. And what do they do with time? Student athletes don't know what to do with that much time. Mm-hmm. I was on a call yesterday and we were talking about how, we as strength coaches have, talked periodically about are we doing too much with our athletes? Do they need some more time? Do they need a break?
Right.
Just in general. And it's well, now they have it and we're trying to inundate them with information and stuff. And it's well, they've got to figure out what to do with time. Mm-hmm. And we can help that along the way. We absolutely can because but we're all trying to figure out what to do with our time too. Exactly. I mean, I've so many people that are just I'm bored out of my mind. And I'm I'm not.
Yeah.
The best opportunity. I said this in a talk yesterday and I've kind of been thinking this is we need to learn how to rest sometimes. And we don't, and we resist that so much. Mm-hmm. And our minds are going so much. And it's this is a time where it's okay, yeah, this week, everybody's what do we do? We've got to do something. And I'm hey.
Well, yeah. And it's it's almost as if it's a blessing in disguise for a lot of us and a lot of us coaches that are going 1,000 miles an hour with these crazy hours and stuff like that. And honestly, it's like, okay, how we take advantage of every single day to begin with, right? We soak up as much time as possible to do as much as we can. Okay, well, how can we take advantage of this calm time, being at home, finding a new hobby, finding a new habit, like plugging ourselves into the places that we have kind of abandoned during a normal work day or during a week or the last 5 years of working in this industry. How can you plug yourself in and like maybe rediscover yourself, or get that refreshing taste of life again? And it's definitely the wholesome look that we always talk about, but it's okay, now it's here, so what are you gonna do?
Yep. And that's what I've with so many coaches who are like, I'm spending time with my family. And like, I don't have like, I'm not married with kids. And so I don't have like a family that's like right here around. So, next week, I'm probably going to go like spend some time with like my extended family, parents, grandparents, just being mindful of that, helping out around, like we have a bunch of land and we're going to go fix fence. And like, I can help in that because I have time to help. Whereas before, like I'm 40 and I can go. They're in their 60s and can't go. So I can help there. And so it's like, it's just finding, like you said, like finding a hobby. How many strengths, and I've said this in a talk that I've done before. It's like, we need to find a hobby. And I've done a talk several, I think you saw the last talk that I did at the NSCA thing. And it's like, okay, strength coaches, find a hobby. And I was like, how many of you, your hobby is weightlifting? Like 90% of people. And it's like, that's not a hobby. That's part of what your job is. Mm-hmm. So what is it that, like, a lot of people, I think, finding something that you're interested in that's not work. Yeah. That's huge. Finding like habits, like creating new habits. I cooked twice yesterday. And that's like my quota for the month, typically. And I'm like, and it was really good. I sent a picture in our staff group me, and I was like, anybody else trying new things? I made some great avocado toast, which isn't even cooking, but that's exploring for me.
Yeah, no, I saw a meme yesterday or this morning, and it was like, we're either all gonna come out as like the best new cooks in America from this, or like alcoholics.
I saw that too.
But, well, I mean, you kind of
made a rule for myself. Like, I'm only drinking with other people. If I am going to consume alcohol, I will only do it when other people are present. I'm not going to sit at home and drink by myself because I don't want to be that person.
No, I think
everybody else who's out there. For me.
Yeah, no, and I mean, we had a brief conversation earlier. I think, right now I've been by myself in my house for the last week, and my fiance has been on spring break, but yesterday was the first like human connection I made. And it was with one of his assistants and his assistant's girlfriend. And it was just incredible that all of a sudden this fog was lifted from me. And, you kind of forget about that human connection. And if you can do it in a very, like in a healthy, safe environment, I highly recommend it. But don't forget about, if you're one of your love languages is physical touch, be smart about it, but like, you got to take care of that too.
Hey, I saw one of my friends posted this on Facebook. Like, she's got older parents, and she was like, we greet each other with a booty bump.
That is
perfect. I was like, done.
That is so much better than the elbow.
Yes.
So much better than the elbow.
The elbow, everybody, I saw another thing. It was like, we're telling everybody to do like an elbow bump, but that's where we're like coughing and sneezing into. So like, what? I was like, how did people come up with this stuff?
So messed up. Well, you kind of talked a little bit about how your quote unquote family dynamics are going to change. You're going to, be a little bit more hands-on with your actual family. So is there anything else that you kind of want to, we have a couple quick, like, short answer questions, but before we get into those, is there anything else that you kind of want to like talk about, or, make a point about, or anything?
I mean, it's more just like going back to the rest thing, like
Yeah.
that, I think that's one of the most important things right now is like people learning how to rest. I was asked once by a great friend, she was like, how do you rest? And I was like, I don't. And she just kind of looked at me and she goes, okay, well, that's the first thing.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
it's because I don't. When I sleep, and I'm like, that's rest. But it's,
Not
our
really.
like, I don't rest my mind often. And I'll read my Bible, I'll pray, I'll do worship and stuff like that. And it's still like I said earlier, like I can't focus on one thing
Yeah.
at a time. And so I'm like, I'm thinking about other things. And I'm like, no, like lock in, focus
Yeah.
up, like, just be present. And I think that's one of those, it's like be present in, and I think that's so important, especially for coaches, because right now, so many coaches are engaging with their kids all day, every day. And it's like, be present in that. And engaging with spouses all day, every day, be present in that. And like seek to find the blessing in it, as opposed to like, well, this is, when can we get back to normal? And it's like, well, allow this to be a normal.
I think
allow this to be an opportunity to really like connect and rest with the people that are around you. And and even like our coaching family. I mean, well, our facility, we're still opening it right now for a very, very short period of time because it's a private facility. We're still opening it to some staff members, and just to like get that connection and see people and share some ideas. But then also it's just like encouraging people to like, hey, how are you doing? Like literally, how are you doing? There's such a mental and psychological stress in not going and going and going and going. And I think a lot of people are going to figure out how much they really rely on work and busyness. And that's one of the things that like I've stopped using the word busy. I'm so busy, or and I say all the time like things are crazy right now, and I've stopped using that verbiage. Obviously right now I have, because it's not super busy, but before then it was like I don't want to say that I'm so busy, because I can like stop and be present in a situation and not allow myself to feel busy. But we make the excuse of, or not make the excuse, but we rely so much on the busyness of things that maybe we don't have to stop and think. Maybe we don't have to like really ponder different areas of our lives. And that's going to be difficult for a lot of people, because it's like, you have time to sit and think now. What is that going to uncover? What is that going to stir up in people? And like, how can, if they don't feel the power and the vulnerability, I can't say that word. If they don't feel power and vulnerability, they could potentially like freak out.
Well,
So
yeah.
Being able to like find the balance in that.
Yeah, no, I think I'm all for that message. Like 10 toes down, we say between Ryan and I, is be present, 10 toes down. And I think right now, our entire lives, it's about how do we navigate through the uncertainty. And this could not be more of a greater example that, our life is a big cluster of uncertainty, but embrace it. Yes. And know that every day is going to be a different step towards finding more about who you are and the life around you. And like you said, be present. All right. So these next couple of questions, I call them my Corona fire questions. And it's basically, it's just kind of how you're adjusting, but try to answer these with one word answers as best you
can. Notice that I struggle with one word answers. Struggle with not expanding. Okay.
Okay. What has been your new COVID go-to breakfast?
I can't make it one word because it's a hyphenated word. Avocado toast.
Yeah, great. But that was different from before, right?
Oh yes.
Yeah. Okay, your new COVID activity.
Walking.
Your new your new COVID habit.
Zoom.
There. So much Zoom. Something you took advantage of before COVID hit.
Interaction.
I knew you were gonna say that. I knew it.
What is one word?
Okay, a TV show or movie that you've now discovered that since COVID has hit.
Well,
It's a title.
it's not now discovered because I was watching it before, but I've been watching it more. But it's called Strike Back.
Okay, tell us more about it because I've never heard about it.
It's from Cinemax. It's like it's called Section 20. It's like British military, like one of the like covert ops. I love like military stuff and CIA and fighting stuff. It's intriguing to me. And so I found it a while back. I think I'm on like season 3 or something like that.
Nice. And where is it on Netflix, Hulu?
Amazon Prime Video, because that's all I have right now.
Very cool. Very cool.
Probably going to get more just to have something because I've watched just about all the things on there that interest me.
Yeah. No, that's awesome. That's great. Well, thank you so much for taking the time today and just kind of giving us some insight and some inspiration and stuff like that during this somewhat crazy time in the world. But thank you so much. And where can Instagram, Twitter, where can people like follow you and stuff?
I am on Instagram and Twitter. I'm not posting a whole lot of stuff right now just because and this is just complete honesty. Like I can't get into all the craziness of what people are posting. It frustrates me so much. And so I'm limiting my social media interaction to like 10 minutes a day. So I'm not posting a lot, but I'm on Instagram. I think it's Tanna Burge. And then I'm on Twitter. I think it's either Tanna Burge or T Burge or something like that. And then we have the Aggie Sports Performance site, Aggie Sports Perf on, I think, both Instagram and Twitter.
Great. Awesome.
Yep.
All right. Well, thanks again, girl.
Thank you.